So here's a little interesting thing that I figured out about Mississippi John Hurt's Nobody's Dirty Business. This is one of the records that he made back in 1928. Actually, in February of 1928. It was his very first recording session in Memphis. He recorded Frankie and Nobody's Dirty Business at that session, and a few other tunes that never got released. Anyway, this was the very first Mississippi John Hurt song that I ever heard on record back when I was in high school, and it was the first one I learned. And I've in fact recorded it and played it hundreds of times, and I just the other day discovered something that I was doing wrong, which is really interesting. It's like real fundamental to the song too. So the song, it's in C. Anyway, what I discovered is at the beginning of it, and actually I think through the whole song, he does not normally, when I play a C and I alternate on a Mississippi John Hurt song, I play the 5th string and the 4th string, and maybe a little bit of a, hit a couple strings there. But Mississippi John Hurt on this one alternates the 5th string and the 3rd string. It gives it a little more pop, and it sounds more correct. I can't believe it took me all these years. Anyway, I used one of those pieces of software that I use called the Amazing Slowdowner. I go back to these songs that I've played a lot and sometimes just listen to them again and see if there's other little aspects of them that I didn't get right, or new subtleties that I can pick up. But anyway, I was really surprised when I slowed it way down. The other thing I discovered is the thumb drops out right there. You would expect the thumb to be playing, but it doesn't. It drops out. So there's two possible things he could be doing there. One is he did that a lot with these two fingers. There's a lot of this type of thing. So he might just stop playing with the thumb, and that sounds like it could be right. The other sort of tantalizing option is that he doesn't play it with his index finger, but he comes down and plays that D note, that 3rd fret on the 2nd string, with his thumb there. And it's almost like a treble note that's being played by the thumb. So let's see what that sounds like. Again. Anyway, it's really interesting. A lot of other country blues players, when you really study, you discover places where it sounds like the thumb is going down. And I think that when I study these old recordings, and I sort of with a sort of Chet Atkins worldview, which is that the thumb plays these 3 strings and that the fingers play these 3. Of course, Chet Atkins all the time would come up and do single string stuff, but you still kind of get into this standard finger picking idea. But if you watch videos, you see that no such rules existed for those players. I mean, I remember watching some videos of Mance Lipscomb where he's got his index finger coming way up to the bass strings here and hitting notes, and other players whose thumb is going and striking high notes when you might not expect it. So anyway, pretty interesting. But the main thing for me is to really play it and just try to get the right feel. It's not that you have to be doing exactly what they were doing, but just getting the right feel. But I have observed that many times trying to figure out what they're doing is often a good step towards getting the right feel. certainly in this one, by listening carefully enough to discover. It does seem to open it up a little bit. It captures a little bit of a bounce to it that